Okay. One, two, three. Does help something. Less haste, more speed.
Petrol help.
No, petrol's on. I forgot to prime the bulb.
Ah.
Okay. What's the reckoning? 2, 3. 1. Helps when you prime the bulb. Just let that warm up for a bit. Okay, so you want to come on board, Zoff? Okay. The other thing we have on board is we have a media pad that we use for Garmin Navionics, yes. Yeah, we just have that mounted down here in a waterproof pouch. It does get warm sometimes, so sometimes we have to flip it or switch it off, but it's pretty good. We also have a backup on my mobile as well, so yeah, we've got double. Yeah, helps with you know, quite a few areas out in the bays around here where there are rocks or where, you know, there's no anchoring or whatever. Of course, the maps help and let us know where we are. Okay. Okay. Pads on. I'm not sure you can probably see it much on there. I've just started recording and we're going to let the lines off. So it's off. Yep. If you want to let the lines off, if you can let me just leave the stern looped around for me so I can let it off. If you want to chuck me the rope, sound like I come from Hull. Yep, no, like that, I'll do stuff, that's fine. Drop it down there, please. Okay, cool. Got a lovely view of Zoff's bum again this morning. I think you've probably had a good view of mine on the other camera this morning a few times, so just leave it wrapped around. Well, it's up to you. If you can get on quick enough, leave it. Yeah, just leave it one other way around. That's it. That's it. Perfect. Just bring it back over the top of the bimini. Bring it back on board over the bimini's off. Keep it tight. No, just keep it tight. Zoff's not massively experienced, so she's learning as we go. Just chuck it over the top of the bimini's off. Yeah, round it. No, round here. So and then you can hold on to it and keep it tight while you get on board. I'll give it to me. Over the top of the bimini. Do you want me to give it to me? And I'll hold it tight while you get on board.
Okay.
Okay. So I've got the bow and the stern. Yep, just drop that. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Socks on the boat this morning. I thought Crocs was bad enough, but Zoff's got socks on. Okay, you got your line? Okay, your rope's here. We'll sort the rope out in a minute when we're... Okay. Sometimes I can get this first time. No, it's not playing. Yay! Oh, got it wet. Stern line off. Excuse the wobbly camera. Okay, that looks like Zoff's going to use the pole to get the bow line off as we go. Okay, I'm going into gears off. Ready? Just steady away. Lovely job. Somebody swimming there outside the yellow markers, which is not a good plan. He's got somebody with him actually though, so yeah, okay. Fair dues. Okay, so we'll see you later, Pobler. Keep that away to us out there. Somebody in the water already this morning. This guy swimming in the harbour entrance, which is not a good plan. Oh, apparently I've got to put my hat on. Okay, I'll switch off for a minute and then we'll catch you a bit. Okay, I'll try and film this as I'm doing it. I'll probably drop the camera overboard, but we'll see how we go. Okay, so pull out. Isn't. Excuse the camera wobble again. Try and do this one-handed. Okay, that's mizzen set. Motor's still on. Okay, the next thing is going to drop the beam down. We'll get the mast, the mainsail set. Okay, this I can't do as well as record, so the camera's going off for a minute. Well, I haven't filmed for a minute or two because Zoff's just had a crack on the head from the boom, and we've had a bit of a weird setup today. When we're actually setting the sails up, the wind's just been changing direction every 2 seconds, so I didn't bother filming because it was just it was horrendous actually. We've now got some, like I say, this weird mushy sea. Probably troughs not far off 800 mil to a metre, the actual troughs. Probably doesn't look it, which he never does, but and very little wind, and the wind's going completely the opposite direction, like I said before, from what it was forecast. It's supposed to be an onshore wind today, and it's certainly offshore, completely offshore. I'll spin the camera around again, you'll see. If you not a lot of it, it's you see the Polish flag in the background there. It's still changeable. Say it's changing every 2 seconds, but yeah. You've got the railway factory, Stadler railway factory, which is Samagol there. La Pobla Farnells is behind us, and the mountains in the background. A bit hazy today, so you can't see. You certainly can't see where we used to live over towards Nakara. It's completely hazy. And then in the distance that way, you've got the docks of Valencia. Right now, I really don't know which way to head. Yeah. Anyway, onward and upward. We'll see how we go. This is not what we had in planned, not what the weather forecast. See, we're back under motor, dropped the sails, the wind suddenly changed. It's gone from being a light to moderate wind to now being moderate to high. Weather forecast changed. Yeah, unfortunately we have to push the wind back into port as well, so it's slowing us down. I think we're doing 4.1 knots back into port. We're about a couple of kilometres in, I think. So I'd like to hook the coast and think it'd be better, but it's actually coming, the wind's changed and now coming from the north. So we're heading straight into it back to port. Yeah. Need some windscreen wipers, and so does the camera looking at it. So, what do you think? interesting as always trying to drop the sails when it gets a bit bumpy. They roll the reefing on the jib, no problem. The mizzen hanging out over the back, pulling it back in, yeah, not so good. The main with the boom, yeah, it's okay. Just have to take all the parallel beads off, but it's down. I'm going to clean the lens, clean the camera, but hopefully you like this experience. It's not what we expected, not what was planned for today, but I'll let you see what it's like. As always, the best thing to do is turn, go back to port as soon as it picks up like this. I've just realised I've got the mizzen flapping. I'm going to need another bungee please off. So I'll switch off for a second, I'll get that sorted. Troughs are probably well over a metre. Most of these are bumpy, but the odd ones like that one, quite big. Yeah, you can see that bobbler's getting close. So, all in all, quite a short day sailing. And a few issues today. Last few times we've been out, it's been smooth sailing stuff. So, it's been okay, hasn't it? Not today. Today's a bit of challenge, bit of fun, bit of challenge. Excuse my fingers. There's another boat at the harbour entrance exit. Yeah, I think he's a bit hesitant. I'm not sure he wants to come out. He's already turned around once. That looks like he's maybe coming back out again, but yeah. A motorboat, but he's similar sort of size to us. Even on a very light wind day, just coming into the harbour here, it's nearly always a little bit lumpy. When we de-rig, we tend to de-rig a bit further out. You can already see that some of the troughs here are bigger. It's not so bad when they're wide apart, yeah, you can stand them a little bit more. But then when they're close set, then, yeah, not so good. He's not chickening out, he's going out. We're definitely chickening out today. Going back in, probably have our picnic on somebody say this week, yeah, it's not the waves, not the wind, it's the waves that's the problem. Wind you can counter against, you rig, you know, back off your sails, whatever. It's the waves that are the issue, and it blows up in them, as you can see. That's probably why we're getting such changeable winds. Anyway, onward and upward, and we'll see when we're back in port. Okay. Threw some bread out for the fish, but it looks like the seagulls have found it and the fish haven't. Yeah. Look, the diver's going out. We were hanging around to see if the wind dropped off a little bit this afternoon, but looking at the forecast, it's not going to. One time I'd have gone out in it, but today, nah. No, I'm fine, thanks. Where are you going?
Stop.
Okay, so yeah, I thought I'd do a bit of background as to this video and why it potentially may change our lives. So I've come for a walk out around our village. It's been nearly 2 weeks since we were last out in Swallow. Still somewhat peeved, upset. I don't know what the word is, but there's been other events that have happened while we've been in Spain over the last 10 years that sets you thinking, questioning A, life choices, and B, you know, the way forward, what we're going to do. Sounds daft, you know, just one event in a boat, nothing to do with the weather. It was what followed on from the last sail that has really changed our opinion. So here we go. I'll try not to puff as I do this video, because right now I'm walking up a 1-in-3 hill above our hometown. We live in a beautiful place, and it'd be sad if anything changed, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, a bit of background about me and Sophia. I've been sailing since I was around 8 years old, in actual sailing boats, inflatables, motorised inflatables, starting off in a fibre cell 10 foot with my dad, skipper 12, Metzeler Barker with an outboard, and then as my mum and dad went up the scale, Norman 23 cabin cruiser, Dawncraft 27, and then ultimately a steel narrowboat, all of which at some stage I drove with my parents and sometimes on my own. So yeah, from a very young age, been involved in sailing, been around boats. At 14 I built and restored my own wooden plywood kayak, which I had for a good number of years afterwards. I also went to Sea Scouts, where of course we sailed, we kayaked, we rowed boats, and we swam in lakes. So my experience in boating spans back at least 52 years. But my family were also marine backgrounds. My father was in the Merchant Navy, great grandfather Merchant Navy, and my step grandfather, if that's the right word, also Merchant Navy. So yeah, maritime history, boating is in my blood. At 18, as soon as I had a car suitable, I had a tow bar fitted to my car so that I could use my dad's 12-foot skipper 12 in local lakes as often as I possibly could. Insured it myself, trailered it myself. So from 18 I've been sailing. For 7 years I also windsurfed. Yeah, did okay. Windsurfed all over Europe. I've sailed all over Europe. Since Sophia and I got together nearly 20 years ago, we've also had a boat, motorboat, not a sailing boat, but we've sailed all over Europe. Yeah, in France, Spain, Belgium, UK, the boat's been in the water, it's sailed, and we've had no issues. We've always done things by the book as best we can, and to our knowledge. Insurances, followed regulations. When we first moved to Spain, we got the same boat registered, because it's a requirement in Spain to have boats registered. And because of that registration in Poland, because my wife is Polish and we don't just use the boat exclusively in Spain, we did the same with Swallow. We registered her in Poland. We knew the process. It helps because Soft speaks Spanish, and we knew or believed under European regulations that Polish registration was acceptable in its full in all parts of Europe. Now this is where things change, and this is where we question what the events that went on our last sail with Swallow. Okay, flies. The events of the last time we sailed with Swallow. For starters, the authorities came flying around the marina to where we'd already removed Swallow from the water. The Swallow was still on the ramp and they would not let me move it any further. They stopped me in my tracks. One of the authority members was extremely aggressive, straight from the go. Face to face almost. He was quite a tall guy, so yeah, he was face to face. And then very soon afterwards he started prodding me as he was talking. I actually had to ask him to be calm and not to be so aggressive. I think it was a deliberate ploy to try and wind me up. But you know, we carried on. Initially they asked for documentation, which has happened before. I happily gave, so all my registration certificates, insurances, boat documents, everything that we needed to, we handed over. They took these documents back to the car, and for a long time the two members of the authority were just sat in the car. Eventually they came back out, and it was like they were being prompted or prodded by somebody either in the car or themselves talking to each other. They came backwards and forwards ad hoc, asking for more and more. Life jackets, no problem. Life jackets in date, inflatable life jackets, all service, new gas cylinders, everything. Nothing to see there. A few moments later they went away, came back. Flares, want to see your flares? Okay, no problem. We have them in a packet in a waterproof bag, handed them over, all in date. We bought them at the beginning of this year to make sure we complied with the legislation. So nothing to see there. The face of the guy who's been aggressive said it all. He was hoping he'd caught us out. He hadn't. They went away again. Another 5-10 minutes passed while they were both in the car. Next thing, radar reflector. Sorry, didn't understand about that one. Oh, you need a radar reflector. You must have a radar reflector to sail in Spanish waters. Okay, understood. In Polish regulations, it's not a requirement. Oh no, Polish regulations don't apply. You're in Spanish waters, you're a Spanish resident, Spanish laws apply. Okay, I accept. Perhaps I've missed something. Wasn't aware of it, first of my knowledge, and retrospectively I had a look about the regulation, and it was an updated regulation in 2021. So yeah, hands up, perhaps I've missed something. But Zofia and I, when we moved to Spain, we've done absolutely everything to follow the rules, regulations, registrations, taxes, absolutely everything to make sure we fit in with the Spanish rules, however you like to say it. But clearly this guy wanted to be aggressive. He carried on prodding me while we were talking about the radar reflector. I could do nothing but hold my hands up. It's something I'd missed. I will say that over 50% of the boats in the marina at Pobla, the smaller boats mainly, do not have radar reflectors. They are not on the boats, they are not mounted anywhere, both on sailing boats and motorboats. The rental boats from La Pobla do not have radar reflectors mounted on them. While we were there and the guy was discussing the license requirements, one of the rental boats came back in with a great big sticker on the side of it: no license required. When I pointed this out to the authority person, they said to me, no, it doesn't apply to you. You are required to have a license. In fact, in his words, everyone who uses the water on a boat above, I've forgotten what the size is now, but I think it's 2 meters, must have a license in Spain. Now, I've already shown you the regulation. I contacted 2 sailing schools because I was previously going to take my licence in Spain, but when they said with the size of boats we've got it isn't a requirement, of course, why would I pay 100 to 200 euros to get the licence? So I didn't bother. The last time I contacted was at the time of COVID, and it actually was quite difficult to go anywhere to do the licence. Some schools managed to do it online, but trying to get a booking was a nightmare, and other schools had stopped in their entirety during COVID. My previous time was when we first started sailing our boat in the Mediterranean. I just wanted to check the regulations at the time to make sure we were okay. That was probably 10 years ago. Yeah, so after a day sailing that was a little bit strange anyway, they certainly put mockers on the day. And because of other events that have happened in our lives while we've been full-time resident in Spain, it's really got us questioning. I've actually seen other posts on the internet of people who've been here a lot shorter times than us, but who've recently posted that they're questioning their lives in Spain. I'm actually not sure whether anything has massively changed, whether we had rose tinted glasses 10 years ago when we first bought over here, or whether the world has changed, the Spanish environment has changed, or whatever, but we don't feel as comfortable here as we once did. I'm not going to go into the details of what other things have happened to us, but it's now quite significant. There's quite a number of things that add up to make us question, and we're making a decision now, you know, as to what we want to do going forward. As we know, Brexit has, those of us who want to live in Europe, it's made things very, very difficult. You know, I was lucky enough that we already lived here a lot and managed to get my residency in Brexit. My wife doesn't have a problem, she's European, she's on a European passport. So for her it's been okay. I was happy, really happy earlier on this year that I got my permanent residency, but things keep changing. You know, things are not like they were, and for this reason we're now making some big decisions, possibly some life-changing decisions as to what we do going forwards. For the time being, one thing is for sure, we're not using Swallow for now. 2 reasons. One, we keep seem to spend one regulation after the next regulation after the next regulation, next tax, this tax, the other tax, and while we're making the decision, is it worth me spending on something that's not worldwide recognised in Spain? Spain is very strange. Some of the international boat captain courses, whatever you like to call them, are not recognised here. Don't understand why. Or if they're recognised between gritted teeth. Hence the reason I didn't do my RYA in the UK before we left. It's something else I did consider. Yeah, they have their own training course. I think it's 4 hours with a little bit of boat work. When you see the standard of some of the people who've done the course, and you see them driving around in the waters of Spain and in the rivers of Spain, one really does question what the authorities are policing. Is it just a piece of paper, or is it what they should be policing, and the crazy driving, drug driving, drink driving, or helming, or whatever? They certainly don't seem to be targeting that. They just target the easy wins, because if you've got a boat, perhaps you've got a little bit of money, I guess. So yeah, it all goes to the tax coffers, pays for the wages one way or another. As you probably gather, both Zoff and I are on a down. I came out to do this video. Zoff's quite upset. She knows how much I researched, gone to town, made sure both the trailer and our boat fit the laws of Europe and Spain in particular. Updated things where necessary, made sure we've got the correct insurances, correct documentation, registered the boat, which wasn't a requirement for either of our boats in the UK. And yeah, we've gone overboard to make sure we comply, only to be smacked in the face by an aggressive and overzealous public agent. I think that's the main thing that's got to us both. We've had been challenged by agents, police, other agents in Spain numerous times. It's quite regular that you stopped at the side of the road. Breathalyzers, vehicle checks, document checks, no problem. We've always been polite, they've always been polite, and some of them we've actually had a good laugh with when they've stopped us. But this agent the other day was just pure aggression, and he had a want to try and wind me up. Being a big guy, probably thought it was a challenge. He wanted a reaction. Thankfully, my nature is something different on most occasions, and it was me that was getting him to calm down. Zoff had to walk away because she was scared of what was going to happen. As you know, agents here carry guns. She was very afraid, very afraid. And again, that's the other reason that's made us start thinking whether we change our life once more and do something completely different. Who'd have thought that having a wonderful sailing boat that we've used many times in the Mediterranean, been to wonderful places on beautiful days, who'd have thought that would make us think about our lives and potentially change our lives forever? Crazy. Okay, to sum up, well, certainly for the time being we won't be using Swallow. As I said, doesn't feel right. Something underfoot going on, I think, in the marine quarters in Spain. But we'll probably upload some other videos. We've got quite a few videos from travels earlier this year, recent travels, that will probably put up. Hence the reason of the et alia on our title, Sailing Swallow et al. It was always intended that we would publish other things, and we'll give you an update as to what our decisions are in the future. Once we've made the decisions, we don't know. Something soured the waters, literally, and it wasn't me winging overboard. I think we may change what we've done in life. One thing that might have you all laughing a little bit, had me laughing at the time, inwardly. I didn't do it to the guy's face, but when the person of authority was telling us that we needed to put a radar reflector onto Swallow, the position he was telling me I had to mount it would have been very interesting. As anybody who knows, Swallow is a gaff rig. He said I had to mount the radar reflector at the top of the mast. So one swing of the gaff pole and the radar reflector would have been knocked off. It's very difficult on a trailer sailor. It's not something that sits in the marina all day every day with the rigging up all the time. So mounting a radar reflector, especially the type that is approved in Spain, these plastic tube, aluminium foiled internal reflectors, don't think they'll last very long. I've certainly seen plenty knocked off even just blown off. They're pretty weak. You know, the plastic tends to deteriorate very quickly, and I know the UK government has checked them and tested them, and they don't believe they're actually particularly of good reflectivity anyway. If I'm mounted in any alternative position, either on the you know, on the rigging, you know, when the sail's up, it wouldn't reflect on one side of the boat. It'd only reflect from one side and forward. So the effectiveness, I don't know. Yeah, I'm on a downer anyway, so perhaps I'm not the right person to speak, but yeah, certainly the original position, the person from authority was telling me that it needed to be mounted, clearly showed a complete lack of understanding of the type of rig on Swallow, and probably the type of rigging on boats, full stop. They just act as a medium for the marine regulators to issue fines. So yeah. Just on another note, we haven't actually received a fine yet. I got a document on the date. Apparently it can take up to 3 months for anything to come through. In the meantime, you just have to hang fire and wait while a decision's made. I'm hoping sense prevails and I've got the regulation right. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. But anyway, onward and upward. Okay, can't really remember where I'd got to. Unfortunately, the GoPro cut off due to the heat. I think we're about 35 degrees today, so yeah, it self-warmed up and then of course the heat on it and made it cut off. Anyway, I think I was saying something like towards the end, yeah, we'll be back with other videos. We'll see you all in the very near future. But as for life, what goes on and everything else, watch this space. You know, we've got decisions to make as to what we're going to do in life with Swallow and with other things. So we'll see what happens. Sorry for being a bit of a downer video. If there's anybody who understands the Spanish law, who understands the regulations that I've shown and can offer advice, I'd be more than willing to, you know, if you can put something in the comments, I'd be really grateful. My background is as a commercial manager and contract manager, so I'm actually pretty well aware of legal wording, excuse the car going past, legal jargon, so I'm pretty sure my interpretation is correct, and the fact that 2 sailing schools also corroborated that, you know, I think I've got it right, but if there's something I'm missing, please let me know. In the meantime, take care all, enjoy, and we'll be back soon with something different, probably a bit more touristy. Okay, take care.